Management Forward, the show that teaches you how to implement wealth management services into your accounting firm. I'm your host, Rory Henry, Director of Business Development at Arrowroot Family Office. I'm here again with Rob Santos, CEO of Arrowroot Family Office. Rob, how you doing today?
Doing great, Rory. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I cannot complain. Today, we're going to talk about how to introduce wealth management to your clients. We're going to go over each of the services and give a how and a why, so accounting firms can understand, how to introduce these different services to their clients.
Great. Let's
All
talk.
right. Okay, so let's start out and give the how to introduce wealth management as a whole. And this is something that I can kind of go over. We have a 5 actionable step process, and that is 1, updating your website to reflect these services, and then 2, issuing a press release announcing either you're offering a wealth management services as a wealth management firm or your collaboration with a wealth manager. We then follow up with an email drip campaign and sequence of emails introducing these services, which don't worry, we can help you out with. We have templates that you can use. And then 4th, through the discovery meeting, asking those questions. I know, Rob, you'll go over those to find out what the pain points are and needs of these different services. And then finally, through the financial plan and tax planning. Okay, so let's start out here, Rob, and let me know how you introduce, financial planning, since that technically is the first step in offering these services.
Absolutely. And you hit it right on the head, Rory. For folks that are looking to incorporate some of these practices into their firm, there are best practices for marketing, that we suggest firms do. And, we wanted anyone that's interested in that, to reach out to us. And as Rory mentioned, we'll be able to walk you through some best practices, even assist you with some of that if it's something that you're interested in. But today, what I want to kind of cover is, how are you going to, when you actually start to have some of these conversations with clients, how are you going to introduce these services to them? And it's really, if we can break it down to 2 steps, one would be a discovery kind of meeting, and a lot of accountants do that already. So this should be very familiar. And then the second may be proposal and action items before deployment. So that discovery meeting that a lot of accountants do, or might be your annual compliance meeting with a client, to gather information or have conversations about things that have changed on their tax consequences from the previous year. This is a absolutely wonderful opportunity to let them know before the discovery meeting that you are incorporating financial planning, comprehensive tax planning. You potentially have some of these other services that you may feel comfortable offering or not. But the real purpose of this discovery meeting is self-evident. It's about discovery. So, we typically don't suggest just sending the client, a 30-page questionnaire. Again, we can help to curate some of this into compounded questions, no more than, call it 10 to 20 in some instances. But you want to go over that, have a conversation with them about why you're collecting all of this information and data. And it really should be comprehensive. And there's a lot of technological resources available. A lot of accountants use these already to share information securely. So once you set up some of those pipes, it shouldn't be too painful for the client. But you want to ask, various questions on the questionnaire about their net worth, their age, some of their goals, if they have estate plans, their life insurance, everything that we're covering in this kind of holistic model that we're big proponents of, you want to try to touch on. And you also want to make it clear that this is a no guilt zone, right? So nobody should lie to their general practice doctor. You as that trusted advisor need to get as much information as possible in order to give your best advice. And using that doctor analogy, potentially have to call in a specialist if that is the best thing for them. So, this discovery meeting really helps gather as much information, organize that information so that then you can move to the next stage, which is, using that comprehensive tax or financial planning, not necessarily as an end in itself. We see a lot of folks out there that market just to put together a financial plan and put together a big document, and here you go, you pay for it. And that's a fine model. But what we see as being very, very successful is using those plans as living documents. So, gathering a lot of that information, using our software to load a lot of that information. In some instances, that information can be directly tied to different parts of their financial lives, so it's updated real time, so that alleviates a lot of the work down the road as far as analysis and recommendations. The more that you can load into the software and into these plans and have it updated real time, the less work it will be for you to collect that information later on. But we really think that it's a very strong point to let everyone know that regardless of what services you're going to be offering to them or advice, that this is really where it is a very good starting point for them. And it's excellent financial hygiene as far as organization and optimization of their holistic financial life. So we think preparing that in that form is very compelling to clients, and also helps to set you up around a financial plan and document that will allow you to really be on the same page as the client and help to explain why some of these things would be in their best interest.
Great, Rob. So what I think I'm hearing you say is getting a financial plan done for a client allows you to optimize their financial well-being, provides them a pathway to success, and it also helps you formulate a tax plan so they're getting best after-tax results.
Absolutely. And, in the broadest sense, this, good financial hygiene and best practices will help ensure financial discipline, both, on your client side and whatever decisions that you collectively make, help make better clarity about those services and why. It'll also help you to educate them as you go through this plan and use that as a resource, and ultimately will help build better trust and peace of mind for your clients. Because as you build some of this together with them, they get better clarity, transparency, and understanding of why these things would be in their best interest.
Great, Rob. That makes total sense. And I just want to make sure we go over this and how does this process work? Say if you are working with a wealth manager and a financial planner, how would that give and take go between you, the client, and the financial planner?
So, for those people that are interested in incorporating this, we really want them to reach out so that we can help walk them through the details of this process. But, after we do the initial discovery meeting and we've collected a lot of those pertinent documents and information, and we can show you how to be able to consolidate that onto software platforms. The next thing is, once that's organized and you have those key details, if you're working with wealth manager, be it Arrowroot Family Office or someone that you're working with, getting the approval from the client to be able to share that information with them for an analysis would be the next point. So now that you've been able to collect all of that information, as using the analogy of the general practice doctor, you have that all organized for the specialists to come in and be able to access that data efficiently, quickly, and be able to make recommendations efficiently as well. So, after you've got that all together, getting that approval from your clients and then sharing that information securely with that trusted party would be the next step for them to ultimately assist you in the analysis and putting together of recommendations.
Great. And when we speak about recommendations, that leads us to our next question and how to introduce investment advisory services, because within those financial plans and tax plans, there's investments that are being advised in. So how do you start introducing that service, Rob?
Sure. So, we've touched on this before, but starting small is something that we really suggest people start with. So, the ability for people to contribute to retirement plans, IRAs, individual 401ks, SEP IRAs, to lower their taxable income for the tax year is a perfect segue into finances and the tax planning that a lot of folks are already doing. So I think a lot of people are well equipped to talk about the benefits of being able to do that from the tax perspective. What you really want to be careful about by introducing investment advisory is to make it very clear that no decisions on how that money is going to be managed until you do a real proper plan and have a proper risk assessment for the client about what kind of risks are adequate in their best interests and the rewards with some of those decisions. So, a lot of clients want to start the meeting and the discovery talking about what investments they should be in or how they should be investing. And we really suggest people slow down that conversation, right? You don't want to pick, the colors of the drapes before you have the ultimate plan of the house that you're going to build. So, keeping that really towards the latter end, where after you on the tax side has been able to provide some high level great tax strategy, next would incorporate some wealth management strategies. And at the very end of that, once that is in place, that is the appropriate time to really talk about potential risk, rewards, timing of investments, how those investments are made. And again, with a partnership with an investment advisor like Arrow Family Office or someone that you're currently working with, just getting onto the same timetable of how that is introduced to clients is really best practices.
Great. And can we go over that process on how you would introduce this investment advisory service to a client in tandem with a wealth manager?
So there's a few ways to be able to do it. If there's a white label version and you're offering it powered by another firm, we can help you set up that process that fits in with what you're already currently doing to introduce it in a way that you feel the most comfortable. If you're outsourcing it to a third party, not a white label, once those conversations, those approvals have been made, then, an introduction and bringing that wealth manager into the conversation would be the best practice, and being on the same timeline and frame around those core documents, which are your financial plan or your comprehensive tax plan. And then the third option of, if you're an RIA, you're bringing it completely in-house. Again, we can help you customize, do some best practices to make sure that your processes and the professionals that are ultimately responsible for giving some of that investment advice are introduced at the time in the manner that you feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, Rob, and maybe you want to touch on the tech-enabled platforms that we're using and how simple and easy it is for both the advisor and the client to use. That client experience, it's as easy as sometimes one click on Amazon or Netflix. I think I want to show how simple and easy it is for the advisor and the client.
Absolutely. So, one thing that we hear from a lot of accountants is their deep fear of having to learn a new system. We know that there's a lot of very high-powered tax software out there that a lot of people have spent a tremendous amount of time learning. One thing we want to make abundantly clear is that some of these platforms, tech-enabled platforms, to help incorporate financial plans into your process and introduce to your clients are quite simple to use. So they have a beautiful interface both for you and for the client. They will lead you step by step on what information could be entered or is missing. They'll also provide vaults to be able to securely share information, and also allow you the ability to assign tasks both to them and to you to keep notes as far as your conversations and your next steps as far as the plan is concerned. So, there are a few platforms that we use. And again, people that are interested in incorporating this, we really encourage them to reach out so that we can introduce some of these platforms to you, and we can best fit you with the best solution for you and your clients.
Great, Rob. And speaking of introducing, let's move on to our next topic, and that's life insurance and the introduction of commission-free insurance. So let's talk about how you can introduce this life insurance platform and service to your client.
Absolutely. It goes back to our discovery meeting. So in order for you as a trusted advisor giving holistic advice, you really need all of the details of the client's financial life to analyze. So a lot of clients have existing life insurance policies, annuities of different forms, shapes, and sizes. And, we really have not met very many clients that don't want a free analysis of that. So, what they have may be absolutely appropriate, good, very low cost, and excellent. But that reassurance is truly value add. And so partnering with some of the folks that we've partnered with on the non-commission side, you can get access to that expertise to do that analysis for free. So, first would be collection to be able to make sure that you're incorporating into their financial plan. And then second, similarly to what we've been talking about earlier, is how best to optimize, right? There are tax reasons maybe to incorporate life insurance. There may be investment reasons, or it might just simply be for life insurance sake. But having that specialist that is on your team to give you that analysis and advice for you can be extremely valuable for you and your clients.
Absolutely, Rob. And let's move on to the next topic, which is estate planning. I know it's a sensitive topic, but it's something that has been useful for us here at the family office. How do you introduce estate planning to your clients?
Absolutely. Again, this is going to be one of those aspects of the discovery meeting. So, do they have an existing estate plan? And if they do, why was it set up the way that it is? And again, we're not trying to dissuade anyone from making decisions that they've already made for good financial reason. But, having those core documents on place, you can actually load what the flow of different funds and assets will be amongst various entities so that you have a beautiful visualized picture of what that estate plan looks like and what the meaning behind it is. Unfortunately, we meet a lot of people that don't have an estate plan. And they, like a lot of folks, are very frightened by either the cost or the time burden that it would take to be able to do it. And again, we're here to help demystify that experience, both for you and for your clients, and help them set up an estate plan that best matches what their needs can be. And for a lot of folks, that may just be as basic as setting up a trust and a living will. But, again, this is proper financial hygiene. And I think, we really truly believe that incorporating some of that into your practice, at least the analysis, and then a potential partnership with either a trusted advisor or one of these tech-enabled platforms really sets you up for success and value add.
Absolutely, Rob. And I think, once again, the simple and easy approach of these technology platforms makes something that was very daunting and maybe difficult in the past a very streamlined and user-friendly client experience for both the advisor and the client.
Absolutely.
Great, Rob. All right. I appreciate your help today in explaining how to introduce wealth management services to your client.
Absolutely. Very excited. And again, want to encourage people to reach out if they want to learn more. We're really looking forward to helping folks.
All right, Rob. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.